Gareth Southgate, well done, well done. I, I'm not gonna say sorry. I'm not gonna say sorry just yet, but I will say a massive well done and fair play. You have earned my respect. You have earned my respect for one of the first times in your reign as England manager. And in this game only, you proved me and a lot of people wrong. And I'm very, very glad about that because we're in a final. We're in another final. I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm gonna go too overboard in this reaction because I'm filming this like quite a while after the game. I've had my time to digest it and all the hype stuff. I've mellowed down now, but I am so happy. I'm so happy. Honestly, guys, we're in the final of the Euros. At one point, I did not have any hope that we were going to get to this point. As you probably saw with my video, especially after the Slovakia game. But we're here now. We are here now, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And we potentially, we're peaking at the right time. Potentially, because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Yeah, I've said that before, and I'll say it again. Most of the time, the team that wins the tournament is not the team who absolutely destroys everyone at the start, and it's the team who slowly get better and better as the tournament goes on. And we have done that. We have done that because in this game, this was, or at least the first about 35 minutes or so, we were the better team, and that was some of the best football I've seen us play in years. Quite frankly, years. We got hit early on. I mean, we are quite slow starters. Let me just say that. Xavi Simons with an absolute rocket of a goal, absolutely fantastic goal. By the way, I'll talk about the Spain-Germany game as well later. Sorry, I haven't introduced this video or anything, but I'm an England fan, so I gotta get this England stuff out the way, right? Because I'm buzzing. But yeah, Xavi Simons with the goal, an absolute rocket of a goal, and that stunned us. As I said, we are very, very slow, particularly at this Euros. But what I will say, the biggest strength of this team is a character and a resilience. Whenever they go a goal down, they don't necessarily panic, they actually step up. We play so much better as soon as we concede, and the resilience and the character from the boys, as I said, is fantastic. So when we do go down, we're like, okay, time to step it up. It happened against Slovakia, happened against Switzerland, happened today versus Netherlands. You can say, there's an element of luck in there, but at the end of the day, if you've gone from one goal down in all of those games, that says something about your resilience, that says something about your character as a team, as a collective, and they showed it in this game against the Netherlands today. The penalty incident with Dumfries on Kane. Look, I'll be real. If I was a referee and in terms of how I would like the game to be played, that's not a penalty in my opinion. Simply because I personally feel that we shouldn't be giving pens for stuff like that where you're trying to plot the ball. The player has already shot. You're not affecting the shot, and you're trying to generally plot the ball. As I said, you've not affected his shot, and then you clip him. But the way the refereeing is nowadays, that is a clear penalty because Denzel Dumfries, you're asking for trouble. You are asking for trouble when your foot is that high and you're coming from that high downwards with your studs up. You can't do that in today's game. So it was a penalty based on that. Maybe it's a little bit harsh on the touch, but I mean you could clearly see from Dumfries' reaction. He knew. He messed up. He should never have been in that position where said, he's asking for trouble in that position. And yeah, getting scores, redemption from, I guess, the World Cup against France. Redemption. And as I said, that first 30 minutes was electric. We played so well in that first 30 minutes. Pretty much until Joey Veerman came on and the Dutch made those tactical changes to stiffen up the midfield. We were absolutely incredible. You know, Phil Foden, that was the best I've seen him play in an England shirt, to be honest. That was the best I've seen him. He was picking up those pockets of space so well in between the midfield, turning, very unlucky not to get a goal. You know, hit the post, goal line clearance from Dumfries. He was brilliant. Kane was dropping deep and had a couple moments here and there. Mainu, oh my word, Kobe Mainu's the real deal. Kobe Mainu is the real deal. Man United fans, you have a player, you have a serious player, honestly. You have an absolute baller on your hands. At his age, we'll get to it in the Spain game, but at his age to be doing what he's doing on such a big stage is absolutely incredible. He was superb, and yeah, he was absolutely incredible in this game, and particularly in those first 30 minutes, he was absolutely bossing it. Him and Foden were connecting so well. But yeah, much improved. The second half was very much back to, and after that tactical change was made, you could see it sort of stifled us a bit, and we didn't really know how to deal with that. And it was kind of back to the England we've seen in this tournament, where very slow in possession, not really penetrating the Dutch defence, and when we had out of possession, just sort of sitting back and, you know, not too much was really going on. But what I will say is defensively we were very solid. We didn't really allow any clear opportunities from the Dutch, particularly in the second half. They didn't really have any. They couldn't really break us down that much. We did very well defensively, and I was expecting us to go to extra time. Yeah, I'd seen this script all before, but Ollie Watkins, with what an amazing goal! What an amazing goal! Absolutely incredible. Now, obviously, we've seen some bangers, and again, I'll talk about it in the Spain review, but there's been some incredible goals at this tournament, and obviously, it's not goal of a tournament, but in terms of like pure like striker goal, and in terms of how hard the goal is, honestly, that's up there with one of the best goals of this tournament. As if you play football, you understand how hard that goal is. To pin your defender at that angle as well, turn him, and that angle at goal, he was like here. That's like an impossible angle. You have to get that shot 100% correct into that bottom corner to score and pass the keeper as well. And he did it. Absolutely insane from Ollie Watkins, and what a moment. Personally for him, you know, he's not really featured too much at this tournament, and you know, this year, I mean, in general, it's been an amazing year for him. Bit of a redemption year for him personally, because before this year, people viewed him as like a decent striker, but I don't even think he was that much in contention for an England call-up. Suddenly, he just has an absolutely insane year under Unai Emery. He's on the England plane, doesn't really play too much, comes on in this game and makes himself a hero, sends England to the Euro finals. Like, that is incredible. Personally for Ollie Watkins, I'm super happy from him, and also showcases our depth in quality, that someone who has barely featured in the Euros, can't really, his third choice striker, can come on and score in a Euro semi. Like, that is really encouraging and shows the quality we have in the side. But this is where, as I said at the start of the video, I will give my credit to Gareth Southgate. Now, I'm a bit of a Southgate hater. I'm not maybe as extreme as some other people, particularly some of you guys watching, but I am a Southgate hater. I will openly admit it. But what I will say in this game, massive credit, massive credit, because for once he got his substitution spot on, and honestly was because Euro semi 1-1, getting to about 75th minute. The game gone quite stale. We need something to change the game up. Both teams, weren't really doing too much. Who's going to take the initiative? Who's going to make those changes which are going to change the game and give us a goal to send us to the final? Or are we just going to be passive again and wait till extra time and go for penalties again because we were great at penalties against Switzerland? He makes those changes. He brings on Watkins and he brings on Palmer, and big balls he had as well, because he took off Kane and Foden, who admittedly both of them started off well, but they faded, and particularly Harry Kane, besides his penalty, yet again not a really good performance by Harry Kane. But second half, both of them didn't really do much. Takes them off, even if they didn't play well. That's a big goal to take off your captain and also take off Foden. Brings on Palmer, which I was like, okay, cool. Brings on Watkins for it, and I must admit, when he brought on Watkins, I was like, Watkins, really? I was like, what? Ivan Toney's there. Ivan Toney was superb for Switzerland. Why are you not bringing on Toney? I was like, okay, Watkins, fine. But you could see why he brought on Watkins. Who plays the assist for Watkins? My boy Gold Palmer. Palmer, the substitute, passed it to Watkins, the substitute, who scores the winning goal. Honestly, like I said, that's Southgate's finest moment. That's his finest moment in a England manager role, and yeah, fair play to Southgate for that. A much better performance by us, and look, we've had an easy run. We've had an easy run to the final. We have, but at the end of the day, you gotta beat what's in front of you. And by hook or by crook, we've had some luck. We've been bailed out by individual brilliance. Another late goal. I know. But at the end of the day, if we were to win this tournament, in 40 years' time, they're not going to be like, yeah, but you should have lost to Slovakia. You scored a 90th minute goal. Yeah, but you scored a lucky goal. In the Switzerland game, yeah, but you only won on penalties. Nobody's gonna care. Honestly, no one's gonna care. Now, that's of course if we win it. That's if we win it. And we've got our biggest test by far, because we're coming out against the best team at this tournament in the final. And, I still do have concerns about this team. I still have seen some problems in this side, which I saw particularly in this second half, the way it kind of got stale, and we sort of allowed the Netherlands actually to kind of grow back into the game after our incredible start. Still concerned me. But, at the end of the day, luckily, we've made it to the final, and even though we have to play the best team now, and we're gonna really get tested, it's in a final, and in a final, it doesn't matter who the best team is, because it's a 50-50. A final is a 50-50. It doesn't matter if you got the best team versus the worst team of the tournament, it will be a 50-50, because finals just have different context, different surroundings about them, and you can be rubbish and still win a final. Trust me, as a Chelsea fan, I know. 2012 Champions League final, we were going to Bayern Munich's backyard. We had an interim manager in Roberto Di Matteo in charge. We finished like 8th in the league, and we still won, and we got absolutely dominated that final. But because it's a final, all you need is just that one moment, and boom, you win the game. It's a one-off game. Anything can happen in a final. So, obviously, we'll do our preview and prediction for the final tomorrow, but as I said, for now, we're in the final, and I'm buzzing. We've got a 50-50 chance of winning. We do, because it's a final, it's a one-off game, and yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy to be proven wrong about Southgate, about this England side, and yeah, we're one step away from God, what would be an absolutely insane insane. Honestly, I don't know what would happen. My celebrations would be insane if we won these Euros. Honestly, that review is going to be mental. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've been hurt. I've been stung by his England team too many times. Anyway, let me briefly talk about the Dutch. From a Dutch perspective, if I was a Dutch fan, I would be really disappointed. Really disappointed because I thought they were really poor. Really poor. I was expecting a lot more, especially attacking wise. Attacking wise, they were really bad. The Dutch in this tournament, defensively, I knew they're not great. Defensively, they're not great, and we saw it in this game. They did get picked apart quite a few times defensively, but what I was expecting was, attacking wise, a bit more from them, but they just looked really timid up top. Besides that, obviously Simmons did a great job, Dumfries hit the bar. They didn't really threaten us too much. They really didn't do too much. A lot of their key individuals, Cody Gakpo has been amazing this tournament, but didn't do anything in this game. Marlon, same thing. Dubai before his injury, of course, didn't do anything. Simmons, to be fair, fantastic goal, that's great. But yeah, they were really poor, and in the second half, we were there for the taking. Honestly, we were. We did allow the Netherlands to have the ball a bit. We allowed them a little bit back into the game, but the Netherlands were very passive, very slow in their build-up, and couldn't really create anything. And it was a real missed opportunity, especially I thought the substitutions in the second half were poor. Weghorst came on and was decent, but I was expecting him to go for it a little bit more, you know. As I said, second half we were kind of there for the taking. We weren't really pushing forward for that goal too much. So I thought, you know, why don't you make your changes, Koeman? You've been very good at this. Go on the front foot a bit, try and go for it a little bit more, but he didn't do it. So yeah, from a Dutch perspective, I'll be very disappointed in the way that we've exited. But what I would say is that getting to the semi-finals with this Dutch side is pretty good, but it's realistically it's not a team that is going to, talent-wise, should be getting to the final, expecting to get to the final. Semis is roughly about where you would think they would get, maybe quarter-final actually, with this squad. So overall, the tournament's been pretty decent for them. It's just a bit disappointing the way it's ended, because I generally think if they had been a little bit bolder, they could be in a Euro final right now. They could be, but yeah. Let's move on then, because I don't want to just talk about this game in England. There was another game. This is a semi-final review. So we need to talk about Spain 2, France 1. The other team in the final. The other team in the final, of course, it is a Spain-England final. Is Spanish or English? Gosh, the memes are gonna be crazy for that. Memes are gonna be crazy. Anyway, yeah, this game, I mean, wow. This kid, Lamine Yamal, absolutely sensational. Firstly, I'd like to say I was not expecting this. This was actually a really fun, entertaining game, and one of the best games actually at this tournament, which I was not expecting because France have been one of the most dull teams at this tournament. But yeah, Spain and France, they did put on a good show in the semi-finals. Really entertaining. I loved watching it as a neutral, and particularly the first 30 minutes were absolutely electric. France took the lead, Colomboani. France came out and actually looked really good. They looked really good early on. Mbappe was causing a bit of problems today, so Navas got that cross in for Colomboani, head up, bang, 1-0, and he looked really strong. And I was like, okay, France, you know, France have actually arrived at this Euros. They're finally playing some decent football and playing well. And they did pretty well up until just a moment of absolute magic from this kid, 16 years old, to score that goal on that stage, a semi-final of a semi-final of the Euros at 16 years old. 16. 16. Like, guys, I don't think you understand how crazy that is. 16 years old. And he's done that. That was an absolutely incredible G. Absolutely incredible G. And yeah, he was fantastic. He should have even got an assist because he did that lovely cross into Fabian Ruiz, who should have scored with that header, and he was fantastic. But let's also not forget, obviously, Yamal's goal was great and he gets the headlines. But Dani Olmo, let's speak on this guy because that was an amazing goal as well. The touch and the technique on that, wow, that was filthy. That was a filthy goal. And Dani Olmo, respect to him, man. He's been fantastic at this tournament, particularly in the knockout stages. You know, he didn't, for someone who didn't really start, he was behind Pedri to start off with. He bided his time, but every time he got an opportunity at this tournament, he's made it count. You know, he did well when he came off the bench versus Georgia. I think he scored in that game. Yeah, he did. Germany game, that was his moment. Pedri comes off, Dani Olmo comes on, and boom, scores in that game and gets an assist, and in this game as well, scores again. Dani Olmo has been absolutely superb. He has a release clause in his contract, which is currently active. And I think based on his performances at this Euros, I wouldn't be surprised if a club triggered that because he's been absolutely superb. I think he's actually the Golden Boot leader right now, so yeah, Dani Olmo, absolutely incredible. Lamine Yamal though, gosh, absolutely insane. And you know, this game was sort of symbolic in a way. Now I'm not gonna go too ahead of myself. I think, you know, people saying, oh, you know, Yamal, he's the next heir to Lionel Messi. He is. Yeah, okay, that's a bit over the top. Like, obviously he's great, but come on, the kid is 16. He's still so young that to make those comparisons and say, oh, he's going to be the next GOAT. Yeah, okay. There's still so much time. Like, he's still got like 5 years until he's 21. That's crazy. Like, a lot can still happen with his career. But what I will say is, this was sort of symbolic. It reminded me of the Argentina-France 2018 World Cup knockout game. Now, if you remember that game, a teenage Kylian Mbappe was coming up against Lionel Messi, who was in the peak of his powers with Argentina. And at this time, teenage Mbappe was a star, but not really like a star. And that was the game coming up against Lionel Messi's Argentina, where that was his coming out party, really. Mbappe absolutely tore them apart, absolutely destroyed Argentina, and it was almost like symbolic in a way in terms of like passing the baton from Lionel Messi to say, okay, Kylian Mbappe, you're gonna be the next guy, you're gonna be the future, right? And Mbappe, of course, has turned into one of the best players in the world since then. And that was the moment where he sort of announced himself on the world stage. In this game, the man who was given that baton, Kylian Mbappe, this was his turn. He was in the peak of his powers with France. The star man took off his mask. Everyone was like, Mbappe's back. He turns up in the big moments. Coming up against the kid. Who's everyone talking about? The kid, Lamine Yamal, with that banger, knocks out Mbappe, who didn't have a good game. And again, I'm not saying, oh, you know, Yamal's now been past the baton, he's going to be the next one, the best player in the world now. But it is very similar in terms of, you know, now we've seen, like, okay, Yamal might well be the next one in line. He could be. And I said this on Twitter. I was like, obviously he's not the GOAT, but he probably won't become one. But Yamal is probably the GOAT for his age. Like, I don't think I've ever seen in football a 16-year-old do what he has done. In the history of the game, I don't think a 16-year-old has achieved and done what he's done on the biggest stage. Honestly, it's insane. like Yamal has generally been top 3 players at these Euros. You can argue the best player at this Euros, and he's 16. Like, please, somebody, if you can tell me someone at 16 who has done better than that, I'll give you £50 because I don't think you can. But yeah, Spain are into the final, fully deserved. As I said, they've been the best team of this tournament by far. And I mean, for France, look, it's ironic because this was actually probably France's best performance at this Euros. This was probably their best. Didn't even play that bad compared to their other games. They actually scored a goal in open play. Second half, they actually created a few chances as well. But at the end of the day, I guess it's kind of karma for playing that bad throughout this tournament. You know, when you come up against a fantastic team like Spain, I guess they're not ready. They're not prepared for this quality of opposition, and when they have to chase a game, they didn't really know what to do. They sort of ran out of ideas, and yeah, it was disappointing for France. I mean, I was gonna say Deschamps, for me, he's been incredible. He has been incredible as France manager, but his time is up. Personally, that's what I think. Like, he's done insane, and you know, still getting to the Euro semi-final is pretty good. But the way they played so bad at this tournament. I think he's been in charge for about 12 years now. It's time for change. Time to let somebody else have this team, have this generation, change up the team, give it a little bit of freshness to this side. Zidane is there. Zidane would be absolutely perfect, but the French Federation has confirmed that Deschamps is staying until the next World Cup, which is a bit of a mistake in my opinion. But if he stays, for me, he's going to have to really change over and make some drastic changes. He's going to have to bring in some of his younger guys and be a bit bolder. He needs to get rid of his favourites. You know, players like, you know, N'Golo Kante, great renaissance, but he needs to go. Adrien Rabiot, he needs to go. A favourite of Deschamps, but he needs to go, quite frankly. That midfield needs a revamp. The fact that Warren Zaïre-Emery has not got any minutes of this Euros has been an absolute travesty, because he is so talented, and France's midfield, particularly in this game, was calling for attacking midfielder, attacking player to create something, but you know, a Pogba type really, but they couldn't do it, and he was right there on that bench. You know, he needs to come into the team. Someone like Michael Elise, don't know how he isn't called up. He needs to be called up and put into this team. Dembele needs to go. Just does not have a brain. Zero football IQ, might have the worst football IQ in the history of the game, honestly. You know, players, Upamecano, to be fair, had a pretty decent Euros, but he needs to go. You know, bring in Canate, bring in, you know, Nkunku, bring him in if he's fit. Griezmann needs to go. Griezmann, absolutely washed for France. I was really shocked, really disappointed at him this Euros. Honestly, been horrific for France, and really disappointed because he's usually, like the last World Cup, he was one of the best players. He really was. But don't know what happened to him. Bradley Barcola needs to come into the team and get more minutes because he was absolutely terrific. When he was given minutes in this tournament. And yeah, France, if Deschamps going to stay, need a bit of a reset. I do want to also read a comment that one of you guys left. So in my community post, one of you guys are he's Spanish, and he left a really big comment, and it kind of summed up this game and how this tournament has gone for Spain absolutely incredibly. And I wanted to sort of end on this because it's just beautiful. So shout out to Sir Master. So he says, doesn't even matter the result on Sunday. Spain have shown how a mix of young and old talent can produce great football and skills. Additionally, it's incredible to see how well they work on and off the field between each other, and how there are no clear individuals apart from a certain 16-year-old who is destined for greatness. Every Spanish player has shown up till now. Today, 38-year-old Jesus Navas, an inexperienced substitute Dani Vivian. Dani Olmo, from the get-go, replacing Pedri with a ridiculous goal and creativity. Nacho, having to systematically change playstyle from centre-back to right-back and face Kylian Mbappe. Miguel Merino, to contain and give dynamism to the side in the second half. Miguel Oyarzabal, to control the ball and stay dangerous in counter-attacks. Unai Simon with dubitative feet, but firm hands stopping everything. Cucurella being everywhere, in attack and defence. Fabius Laporte with one of the best ball handling plays from a centre-back I've ever seen. Rodri with yet another impeccable game holding the midfield and recovering balls. Fabian Ruiz, critical in recovering rebounds and the air as well as connecting with the wingers. Nico Williams constantly dragging two defenders with him and lasting 90 minutes with his determination and skills. Lamine Yamal likewise, but with a magical left foot that almost resulted in a 4th Euro assist. And Alvaro Morata, the captain, doing all the dirty work of running to rival ball holders, sacrificing counterattacks with prior defensive runs, and all of this in a Spanish team that were unable to deliver balls to him in several moments of the match. Genuinely, respect to Spain. Honestly, that was a beautiful comment and just sums up the game perfectly. Every single player, as he mentioned, terrific throughout this tournament and in this game, and Spain fully deserved to be in that final. Fully deserve it. Can they hold their nerve in the final though? Versus England? We will see. We will see. We have a Spain-England final. A date set. Sunday, 14th of July, 8 PM English time, BST. Hopefully you guys will be there. Hopefully you guys will watch the preview and prediction video we have coming out tomorrow about that game, of course. So yeah, we look forward to this game, of course. As I said, make sure you stay tuned and watch the preview and prediction video that will come out tomorrow for the final. I'm of course so buzzing for it, excited. England, Spain, and I guess all I have to say is English or Spanish.